All right, everybody. I am not the Unabomber. This is Billy Ray. We are the Sons of Saturday. I am in a hotel. I am in Greenville, South Carolina. I made the drive down. Bryce did call me, and he asked me what I was stopping to get to eat. And I did say Chick-fil-A. And he said, you strike me as a two-sandwich kind of guy. That was tough to hear, but that is true. I did get the cool wrap, and I also got the deluxe spicy chicken sandwich. And I'll tell you what, somehow after that comment, we both realized that nothing in the world is better at putting politics aside more than Chick-fil-A and Ben & Jerry's. And here we are faced with this game, two teams on different sides of the map, some with different political affiliations. We will put that aside and we will play a football game on Friday night in Lane Stadium. And here is my lead-in, Pat. Here is my lead-in to this game, because I put out a little compilation today of some of the thoughts that I had over the course of the year. And I have been mortified of this football game. Mortified. Cal is coming to town. Friday night is the 25th anniversary celebration of Enter Sandman at Virginia Tech. It is said as the moment where the earth shakes. Our opponent, Cal, is familiar with actual earthquakes, as Hayward's fault runs directly through their stadium, directly through Berkeley. Rich Luttenberger, because of course he did, knew this and said, if you look at the stadium, they have this marking that shows you where the fault is running right through the stadium. So, I mean, yeah, there's that. The Hokies are favored in this game, which is rather shocking. And again, I've been just scared of this game for a while. I said, is this the game where Brent Pry is going to be fired? Well, he was fired weeks ago. So that is not going to happen this week. What I am also afraid of is this. It's not Maroon effect. It's not Orange effect. It's not Stripe the Stadium effect. It is, please don't put me in a position where all of my friends who are not Virginia Tech fans but watch the game text me the morning after because it was so embarrassing on national television effect. That is the effect that we have on Friday night. I got to tell you, their Calgorithm, it's awesome. We can't hide on the CW. There's nowhere to go. So that is what we are going to see in Blacksburg, Virginia on Friday night. And Pat, you and I, for the first time since you packed up the U-Haul and you headed to the Empire State, we will be together. I can't wait to see you, buddy. How you doing?
I'm great. A couple of comments there. First and foremost, we hung out in Atlanta for
Damn, that's right. That's right, dude. It's the first time that we will be together in Blacksburg since you packed up the U-Haul. It seems like lifetimes ago that we played against South Carolina, to my credit, but you're right.
Certainly lifetimes ago. I'm sure Shane Beamer and Brent Pry want the last 45 days of their lives back. Speaking of, I will also say the national television, I guess ACC network, what do you want to call that? You want to call that national television? We did get our doors blown off already at night in front of everyone, that ODU game. So maybe it's the October version of it, because we already got the October version.
Well, this is on ESPN. Good. This doesn't have a 2 next to it. There's no Ocho. There's no this isn't on any. It is on the flagship, Chief.
And if Matt Barry and Dan Mullen aren't calling it, like, do we have a puncher's chance? I don't know. We are favored. It's pretty exciting. I also know you have you got some memes in the oven right now from the Calgorithm. And I know you're very excited to share what we got going on over there. That's going to be fun too. This is just like a game full of bits, honestly. We haven't played Cal in 22 years. And we're favored? How are we favored in this football game?
When the line came out, it was pretty shocking that we were favored. Then when I saw we were favored by multiple points, that was equally shocking. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun pod. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. If you're listening from the Calgorithm, tell us a little bit about yourself in the comments. I've been, I actually went as far as to create a list on Twitter of a bunch of Calgorithm accounts that I can follow and just check out, because I really think it's one of the coolest and funniest movements in college football. But we have a whole segment for it. Go ahead.
If you are not familiar with the Calgorithm and you're new to this, or you might not be on Twitter or Instagram, Billy Ray, what is the Calgorithm?
Let's do this now. So the Calgorithm, from my understanding, was birthed essentially when Cal, Cal Berkeley, we got Tim Sands, we got the state of California, we got Gavin Newsom, right? And anytime a school loses to Cal, you're like, dude, we lost to the lefties, we lost to the communists, right? So Cal beats Auburn a couple years ago, and of course, Auburn Adrian is probably on Twitter, like just crushing the state of California, like just making fun of them and saying all sorts of stuff. And Cal's like, let's lean in. Let's adopt this. Let's throw it back in people's faces. And this created the Calgorithm. It is essentially a for lack of better terms, a woke mob of Cal fans who just crush people with memes. And I actually put together some of my favorites. We'll start at the beginning. So this is your introduction to the Calgorithm over at Cal. So you don't see slide 1, right? That's hidden for you. You can see the whole thing, or can you see slide 1?
I just see the rainbow.
Perfect. Okay, good. That's only on my side. We're learning together. So all hail the Calgorithm. If you're listening, you should be watching, but we'll describe what we have here. We have the Cal mascot with a rainbow, and all hail the Calgorithm. This one was also pretty funny. This is a college game day. A student brought a sign that said, "I thought this was a protest." Objectively hilarious. It's also hilarious because this was at Cal for college game day, which means that college game day started at 6:00 in the morning. So this guy was out here with this sign, which was really, really, really funny. We also have this one. I only do lines of code. Thought that one was pretty funny. Not as much a political statement as a.
Well, that was a au contraire to the opponent that day because it was Miami.
Correct.
Was playing in college game day.
Fun fact, that is Miami's last ACC win. Came over that Cal game, and they won like 19-12 in overtime. It is so over for Mike Norvell. We have this one. Florida State, yeah. Oh, they played Miami. So, yeah, that's not even the right game. That's just me being wrong. Here we have the Cal Golden Bears getting off of an airplane with DEI policy books. I thought that one was pretty funny. Here we go again. We have the Cal Golden Bear carrying a briefcase that says critical race theory. That one is funny. This one was great. They played against Florida State, and Florida State Stadium is called Doak Campbell Stadium, which they renamed to Woke Campbell Stadium. Objectively,
look at the bear. Look at the bear's eyes.
They also have the all gender bathrooms in the stadium too. Just unbelievable. This one's good. So Cal on offense, they're essentially saying that they're the United States and they are a democracy because they are spreading the ball around and they're doing everything. And then when they are on defense, they are communists because they are taking the ball back from everybody. So I thought that one was pretty funny. This one is a common meme that is usually thrown. This is actually the meme that started it all. It's you lost to the woke agenda. If you would also notice, the quarterback in the bottom left is Mendoza, who is now at Indiana. He was the quarterback at Cal at that point as well. And then lastly, this one's a little bit of a smorgasbord here. We have very similar to Boise State. We have Florida State's field covered in a rainbow. We also have woke enforcement. We have the Cal Bear with the woke enforcement t-shirt. We also have, this must have just killed Auburn fans. They have Auburn Stadium, and above Auburn Stadium, it says property of Antifa. So look, I don't really care where you sit on the political spectrum. This is objectively hilarious. Unbelievable by Cal. Unreal. And Cal's the only school that I could imagine doing it. What is your familiarity with the Calgorithm? I think it's unbelievable.
These are the funniest memes on the internet. At least the funniest memes in the college football internet.
Yeah.
And the fact that this all kind of spurred because of College Game Day last year is just like the most college football thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hadn't seen like any of these, so that was Are they still doing it this year, or was it just
they're
like
still doing it? Yeah,
thing?
they're still doing it. I tried to chirp them a couple of times. I think that Cal fans are they'll realize that they have a game this week and start to chirp. But I'm very much looking forward to some of the chirps. If you do want some ammunition, Cal, our president is a graduate of Cal Berkeley. Are there any other like self-owns? I'll let you guys do your own research, but I'm very excited to see what the Calgorithm cooks up coming into this game. So that is the Calgorithm for everybody. There are probably some, our parents are probably listening to this podcast. Shout out. My mom is going to call me and be like, so what is this Calgorithm thing going on? It's crazy. So anybody listening that has never heard of the Calgorithm, you have now been educated on what the Calgorithm is. Hokey Haiku, Reasonable Squirrel. He's back, dude. This guy is just churning out haikus like it's nobody's business. What is Golden Bear? Hold my beer, bear. Watch this. That's definitely more than 7 syllables. Hokey win 3 soon. I can't believe we've only won 2 games, and it's October 20th. What an absolutely disaster season. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. Pat, do you want to talk a little bit about Cal, the university? It's in Berkeley. Cool stadium.
Cal is one of, if not the, I guess technically the top public university in the United States.
Wow.
As per the 2026 U.S. News and World Report rankings, actually was the #1 public university in the world.
Wow.
It's home to nearly 60 Nobel Prize winners, faculty, and alumni. Student body speaks over 220 different languages. The city of Berkeley is considered a culinary hub and was the birthplace of California cuisine. There are 27 libraries on campus. There are also 27 bear statues on campus. A gold nugget believed to be the one John Marshall discovered to start the California Gold Rush is on display at one of those libraries, the Bancroft Library. A student tradition at Cal involves rolling down 4.0 hill to ensure good grades on an upcoming exam.
That is so corny.
That's tough. Respectfully. The campus colors are blue and gold, representing the California sky and the Golden State, respectively. The Campanile, which is also known as Sather Tower, is the 3rd tallest bell and clock tower in the world, standing at 307 feet tall. Doing my research on Cal, I mean, it's like an Ivy League school out west. I think this is a very, very good school.
Do we need to go? It sounds pretty cool. I mean, if we go out there and play, I'll go. Sounds cool.
I was looking at the stadium. I was looking at the campus. It's like 27 libraries. Wow, we had 1.
Yeah.
4th floor, library.
I haven't read 27 books. Unbelievable.
I can barely count that high. Cal is awesome. I'm like, wow, Cal, let's go. People always talk amazing. Like Stanford is like the cooler of the two. I feel like that's just like general reputation to an East Coast guy. Like Stanford, Tiger Woods, John Elway, and then Cal, you're just like Aaron Rodgers. But like,
is Cal the Cornell of the West Coast cool schools, of the West Coast higher ed schools? Are they the Cornell?
I have no idea where you're going with this.
Haven't you always said that Cornell is like the coolest Ivy school? Like if you met somebody and they're like, I'm from Cornell, you're like, oh, so this guy's probably more of a bro than whoever went to Yale or Harvard or Princeton, right? Would you say that Cal is probably that for the West Coast?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know about that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I definitely want to check it out. I think you guys got some pretty cool tradition. Yeah, I mean, shout out. The 4.0 hill was definitely the toughest one that you read. In terms of notable alumni, I got to be honest, I was expecting a lot of wokesters. I was expecting a lot of like politicians. The last couple games, we've had some not so popular politicians on both sides of the aisle, but I actually couldn't really find anybody, to my surprise. The way that they talk about you guys, you'd think that like Nancy Pelosi and Gavin Newsom went to Cal. I didn't see them on either list. But who I did see was Gregory Peck. Gregory Peck, unbelievable American. Brenda Song, unbelievable
Goat.
Disney actress. Want to talk about goats? Alex Morgan, goat, absolute goat, and Cal grad. Marshawn Lynch. I wonder how much time he spent in the 27 libraries. Respectfully, of course. Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Jaylen Brown, Celtics NBA champion and NBA Finals MVP. Jaylen Brown. Jason Kidd, New Jersey Nets legend, went to Cal.
That was cool.
That was cool.
When I was like, damn. I grew up watching Jason Kidd. Used to be a big New Jersey Nets guy. Yeah, Nenad Kristich, Richard Jefferson, Kenyon Martin, Travis Best, Vince Carter, Jay Kidd.
I think it's underrated how much of a bad name Nets is for a sports team. It's also a travesty they left New Jersey.
The Izod Center, formerly Continental Airlines Arena.
It's where I walked at graduation, dude. Nnamdi Asomugha, he was like the best corner in the league for like 2 years. Like they were like really, really good for the Oakland Raiders. Tony Gonzalez, I never would have guessed that he went there. And Ron Rivera. I got to tell you, Ron Rivera gets a little bit of a bad rap for his time in Washington and the end of Carolina. I love Ron Rivera. I think he's an awesome dude. And also current Virginia Tech president Tim Sands also graduated from Cal. Pat, hit me with some hokey history with Cal. I will add this note, though. We do have the history of last year where we had our absolute skeleton crew of a basketball team last year against you guys. You guys had like Tony Kukoc's son on that team or something who went absolutely off in the ACC tournament. It's definitely not Tony Kukoc's son, but it was some Eurobasket player. Their son was on the team.
Limited history in this series. Cal owns the all-time series 1-0. Cal defeated Virginia Tech in the 2003 Insight Bowl. 2003 had some talent on the field, but some lack thereof when it comes to chemistry. They were not hanging out in the chemistry library that season. That Tech team was special. They started out 6-0, and then the wheels fell off in Morgantown. West Virginia beat Tech 28-7. I think we were ranked number 3 or number 4 in the country. Went on to kind of spiral after that without mentioning the Miami win at home over number 2 Miami, breaking their 39-game regular season win streak. But later that year, after kind of just going kaput, finished the season 8-4. Go out to Scottsdale to play the Fighting Aaron Rodgers at the Insight Bowl. Insight Bowl, what a throwback. You had it's just a blimp. That was the logo. Just a big blimp. Played at Chase Field. Marcus Vick caught 4 passes that day and a touchdown. Brian Randall, friend of the pod, came on the pod this summer. Was the guy playing Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers still in the league. Brian Randall now coaching quarterbacks at William & Mary. Brian Randall had 4 touchdowns that day. D'Angelo Hall, big day returning punts. But 52-49, Cal did get the win, largely in part to Virginia Tech only scoring 0 points in the third quarter. If you tell me you score 49 points in the ball game and 0 of those points are coming from the third quarter, I'm saying, what's going on? I don't know. Hokies lost. Cal football. They've been a member of the Pac-10, Pac-12, Pac-8, AAWU, and the PCC, and now they are in the ACC. They got picked along with Stanford ahead of Oregon State and Wazoo. Wazoo almost picked up a dub in Whoville, but crazy safety. National champions in 1920 and 1922. The Cal Golden Bears have spent 4 weeks at number 1. They have never been ranked in the CFP. Their stadium is called Memorial Stadium. One day we have to do a study on how many stadiums are called Memorial Stadium.
And also how many libraries are called Bancroft. Or I know that Navy has Bancroft Hall. I know that Bancroft is a library at a bunch of different schools. It's also crazy, just real quick, when you were talking about the Insight Bowl and you were like, yeah, that season was a bummer. We won 8-4. I would crawl on sharded glass for an 8-4 season right now. There are some crazy things I'd do to go 8-4. Not too crazy.
If you had NCAA football 2004 on EA Sports, you played the college classics. One of them, The Play, the legendary 1982 game, final kickoff play. Cal brings it back for a touchdown. But wait, the band is on the field. Yes, that game. Stanford band out on the field because they thought the game was over. Come on, guys. The game is not over. Get off the field. Cal takes it in for a touchdown. Cal wins the football game.
Quick rule. If you rush the field and there's a play going on, like, you should definitely tackle the person. Like, you're already going to get a flag. But this has happened a couple times where, like, fans will be on the field or the other team will storm the field and they're like, oh, let me get out of the way quickly. And it just creates mass confusion. I'm not encouraging storming the field, but if you are a student, fan, or player not involved in a play and you find yourself on the field, just tackle the guy with the ball if it's the other team. I think that's sound advice. If, like, the trombone guy tackles them, at worst, it's a 15-yard penalty. They're not going to be like, well, touchdown. You know? I don't know.
5 laterals on that play. Hashtag trombone tackle. Cal's mascot, Golden Bear, Oski, I believe is the pronunciation. He is respectfully a creepy looking mascot.
It's a tough look. A bear is usually a very majestic looking, pretty amazing creature. This version of the mascot kind of looks like, this is going to be a disgusting picture, but if you took like a heavy set old person and they were super pruny and they had like been inside and in a bathtub for a long time, that's kind of what he looks like. Or if you just shaved the bear completely of all of his hair. It's kind of like the Hokie bird. We both have animals that in certain situations, they're like the opposite of jacked. They're like, we're going to make a mascot. Let's not give him muscles. Let's actually give him a belly and make him a lovable creature. Which, I mean, is certainly a direction that you can go in and a direction that both schools decided to go in.
Billy Ray, what are the storylines here? We talked about the Calgorithm. This Cal team is like solid, 5-2.
The Cal team is okay.
They're one game away. They will clinch a bowl berth with a win here in the Terror Dome.
So let's talk about this Cal team. They started 3-0, and everyone's like, okay, this Cal team's actually pretty good. They started 3-0 with wins over Oregon State, Texas State, and Minnesota. Pretty impressive win over Minnesota to beat PJ Fleck. Then they got absolutely punched in the face by San Diego State at Snapdragon. I think that's what that stadium is called. For all of your Californians listening, I did spend close to a year out in Crown Point, Southern California, which is the best part of California. And that was weird. 34-0. You guys lost to San Diego State, and it's kind of been a little weird since then. Then they beat Boston College. And then I was watching them because they were playing at like 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night. They were playing against Duke. And they were winning 21-7. And then I started to play some beer pong. Probably played for like 20 minutes. Won. And then I was going over to the kitchen and I realized that they were losing because they gave up 38 points straight and lost the game 45-21. And then they had that miracle win over UNC last week where the game was lost. And then in UNC fashion, the ball is punched out as they're looking to go into the end zone for the game-winning play, and it goes out of the end zone. Pat, that 21-7 game, kind of similar to our game in 2019 against Duke, where we come out, we look pretty good, and then just get absolutely ran off the field. That was very odd. Very, very odd. Speaking of odd, fantastic running back, Jalen Ott, was a big story at Cal last year. He ended up transferring out. And we'll talk a little bit about your quarterback here in a second. But in terms of some other storylines, Christian Ellis was the defensive back who he did have the game-winning pass deflection against NC State. He was in our Twitter header, and he has entered the transfer portal. So his last play as a Virginia Tech Hokie will be a game-winning deflection coming against NC State. And what hopefully it isn't, but could be our last win of the season. Some UVA fans very fairly and smartly actually gave us some crap for that picture being in our banner, which, hey, solid move. They're like, you're chirping us. The player in your header literally transferred. That is true. That did happen.
The header has since been changed.
It's been changed to brighter days when we beat UNC in 2021. So the header is almost 5 years old. Cal will travel almost 2,300 miles for this game because, of course, we care about athletes and want them to be in a good situation. Yes.
Wellness check on the guy driving from Cal to Blacksburg. We should track him down. We never heard from the Duke guy.
No, we didn't. We need to follow back up. We do need to follow back up. And he left Memorial Stadium with a dub, and then drove himself back to Durham. So really impressive. The Hokies are coming off of a much-needed bye week after 7 games in a row. Curious, Monty, what did we get done? Did we put in a new offense? Did we get some guys some reps at some positions? We will see. But those are the storylines for the game. Let's talk a little bit about their head coach, Justin Wilcox. Justin Wilcox was a defensive back at Oregon. Pat, this is crazy. Here I am, sitting in a hotel in Greenville. I am about to turn 30. Justin Wilcox is 48. He was the defensive coordinator at Tennessee in 2010. So he was the DC at Tennessee at 34 years old. Even crazier, he was the defensive coordinator at Boise State in 2006 at 30 years old. I'm not sure if this was like a transition year or where this lands in like the Boise State being really good area, but Boise was probably pretty good in 2006. That's crazy that he had that job at that young. So shout out to him. He's seen a lot of football. That is a crazy age to have that defensive coordinator position. He's been a long-time defensive coordinator. He was at Washington. He was at USC. He was at Wisconsin. And he's been head coach of Cal since 2017. He's 47-52, and he has never had a winning record in conference play. Now, that may change this year. I'm curious, and Cal fans, maybe you can answer this. My deferred stance is that it's Cal, but I think that's kind of disrespectful, but it's kind of crazy that he's still the coach, and that's the record. Like, never having a winning season in conference play, that's tough. Any other things front of mind for you going into this game before we talk about offense and defense?
Well, you know who their general manager is at Cal.
Riverboat
Ron. Yeah. You have to figure that Justin Wilcox was on the staff at Tennessee during Derek Dooley's short-lived tenure there, 2010. Lost to North Carolina that year in the Music City Bowl.
How is Derek Dooley related to Bill Dooley? Were they brothers?
No.
They are related, though, are they not?
Mm-mm. But this is Derek Dooley, who is actually running for a Senate position in Georgia.
Derek Dooley and Billy. Derek.
That's
Dooley.
Also an aside.
Yeah, Bill Dooley. I'll have to look this up later. We'll get back to it.
So, we went out to Tahoe. We need to find that picture. That picture needs to be posted.
So just a heads up. Just a heads up. They totally are related. So Bill Dooley, who was born in 1934, had 4 sons: Jim Dooley, Billy Dooley, Chris Dooley, and Sean Dooley.
Where's Derek?
I guess there is no Derek. I'm wrong. I didn't think there were that many Dooleys that coached football, dude. I thought this was like some proud lineage of dual dogs. I'm wrong. I'll own it.
If you had made it this far in the show, comment below, Billy Ray doesn't know Dooley ball.
We do need to find that picture of California. We'll put that out. It was when we received the news that Cal and Stanford would be joining us. We were out in Lake Tahoe having some epic skiing out at Heavenly. By the way, for all of you California folks on here, Pat and I are from New Jersey, and we do like to engage in some of the beautiful recreational activity that you offer in California, such as skiing. We love skiing. Skiing is fantastic. We were out in Lake Tahoe. Love us in Colorado. Love us in Salt Lake City, some Park City. It's absolutely fantastic. I told you this podcast is going to be a little crazy. Let's jump into the offense. Their offense is pretty bad. It's 104th in yards per game. It's 131st in rushing yards per game. They're averaging 94 yards of rushing on offense. That's not good. Here's a not good stat for Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's defense is one of 4 schools allowing 100% red zone scoring conversion rates. Those schools are Rice, Oregon, Utah State, and Virginia Tech. Yes! We are on a list with Oregon. That rocks. That rocks. Well, Oregon has given up 12 scores in 12 attempts. We have given up 27 scores in 27 attempts. As Kendrick Lamar says, they not like us. That's tough. That's tough. That's really tough. You liked that one, dude. I got you with that one. That was a good one.
That was one of your best one-liners I've heard on this podcast in a really long time.
I've been practicing this one. Their quarterback. I have this typed out. Jaron-Keawe Sangaputeli. He is from Iwa Beach, Hawaii. He is 6'3", 225. So let's all say it together. Ready? Jaron-Keawe Sangaputeli. Yep. Perfect. That's exactly how it sounds. So if you guys remember, this was the same quarterback who was top 10 in the country, the 7th-ranked quarterback in the country. He enrolled at Oregon on December 27th, 2024, and then transferred to Cal on January 3rd, 2025. So he probably had just gotten like his backpack. He might have done like one roll down 4.0 hill. He's like, what's up? Or actually, he would have been in Oregon at that time. So he probably met Phil Knight, got his backpack, got some Nike Air Dunks, whatever. And then he was like, peace, I'm out after I get all my free gear. And then he headed over to Cal. That was weird. I remember when that happened. It was like college football is so broken. But here he is. Crazy. He's at Cal now.
Yeah, crazy New Year's Eve or something.
So Sangaputeli is 4th in passing yards. He's 5th in interceptions. He's 2nd in attempts. He's 4th in completions. So who is this guy? Basically, this is Brett Favre if he was playing in Moana. Like, that's kind of what this quarterback is. He's like the Hawaii version with like a dangly earring of Brett Favre, which is very interesting. So here's a fun stat. He completed 67% of his passes with 6 touchdown passes and just 1 interception in the first 3 games. If you recall, Cal was 3-0 at this point. And then in the 4 games since, he's only completed 56.3% of his passes with 4 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So this team kind of goes the way that Songa Pulatelli tells them to go. So I thought that was interesting.
These guys, I still can't believe we've been that bad on our red zone defense.
It's awful, dude. I can totally believe it. We suck. I can totally. We've won 2 games this year. I could totally believe that we're that bad on red zone defense.
Last week we came on here and talked about Georgia Tech on 3rd down, or on 4th down, and we dominated them on 4th down. Cal is converting 37% of their 3rd down conversions. So a little below average there. They are scoring on 80% of their red zone trips. Not perfect.
Not everybody can be perfect. God, man. I'll tell you what. This has nothing to do with this game. It is so weird previewing a game like this. It just really is, man. Like just getting on here, jumping on the cast, jumping on the tube, and talking about these 2 teams, brother. God, what a life we live.
I just can't wait for Sunday. Where do we watch? Where do we tailgate? Together at the game.
Together at last.
Nothing like walking out of lane with a dub.
Nothing like walking out of lane. That's true. For those of you that don't know, by the way, this week is the not only is it the Pat and Billy Ray are both going to be at the game, it is also the Willie Kranick effect game. So for those of you that don't know, Willie Kranick, he has been a longtime supporter of this podcast and me. This is he all the way with the hood on. So he was a pitcher at St. Peter's College. If you remember, they were in the NCAA tournament, and he broke St. Peter's College's 56-game losing streak. He was the pitcher that got the win for that. You can look it up. He did a podcast about it. It's pretty amazing. Anyway, so just since I went to Virginia Tech, this guy's a cop at Jersey City, and he comes to a game every year, and he's got a smile on his face. He's so excited. He drives down. These are the games that he's been able to watch. He went to the 2021 Notre Dame game. We lost after being up, 11 with 2 minutes left. He attended the bowl game against Maryland in 2021 where we got absolutely kicked in the face. We lost 56-14. This was when Coach Pry was announcing that he was taking the job, and that was in the middle of a 65-yard Tagovailoa touchdown. He also attended the 2022 West Virginia game where we got absolutely wrecked. He attended the 2023 Rutgers game where they played the air horn 1,000 times and we lost in Piscataway. That was tough. He attended the 2023 Pittsburgh game, which was a ton of fun, but that Pittsburgh game ended up sucking. And then he also attended the 2024 Rutgers game, which we lost at home.
Why did you just say the Pittsburgh game ended up sucking?
No, the Pittsburgh team ended up sucking. We beat a team that was trash. I think they won 3 games that year. So if history tells us anything, it's that we lose a lot when Willie's there. And I would blame Willie, but we actually lose a lot, period. So it's really not Willie's fault. Hopefully we can walk out of Lane Stadium with a dub with Willie because it's only happened once. There are 2 wide receivers. They have 2 wide receivers that are over 400 yards in the year. Jacob DeJesus. I'm going to tell you what, man. Please do not take my Lord's name in vain. But he's having one hell of a year. 47 catches for 406 yards. They also have a guy named Trond Grizel.
Wow. That is all-name team right there.
Really incredible stuff. They also had another wide receiver that I thought had a funny name. Not funny. That's disrespectful. An interesting name. His name was Mason Minnie. It's literally his name, Mason Minnie. They also have Mark. They also have Mark Hamper. That guy needs a Tide NIL deal or something. So shout out.
His name is Mark.
Mark Hamper. So shout out to both of them. I'll tell you what. Before turning it over to the defensive side of the ball, here's a message from our friends over at TechStream.
There is a workforce development issue, really a people problem, ranging anywhere from 600,000 to 900,000 open cybersecurity jobs in the United States alone. It doesn't matter how many grants you have, how much federal funding that you've been applied, people are just not there. We can't buy our way out of this problem.
We approached the security problem a little bit differently. We centered on an investment model that allows our customers to build an asset in conjunction or collaboration with TechStream resources in order to provide a solution that lives with them.
We're talking about the whole of state cybersecurity program. A state will select a technology generally outsourced to protect all agencies, municipalities, cities, and other institutions. But it's much broader than just the technology. We're talking about people, process, and technology, a three-legged stool that has to work in conjunction with each other. And we think that that's more of a co-managed, collaborative effort and not just an outsourced model where we're going to force technology on you. We like to create a concept of build them here and keep them here. Workforce development problem is going to be solved by taking students inside of the higher education institutions, training them for 2 years, putting them out into the workforce at either the state or at private sector inside the same state.
TechStream, shout out. Judd, Mark, what a team. What a team. A dream team, if I may. Let's talk about that defense. Defense. We said the offense was pretty bad. Defense is pretty good. 34th in total yards allowed at 323. 37th in third down D, 34.5. They have 10 sacks on the year. 3 of those sacks have come from T.J. Bush Jr. T.J. Bush Jr. is a junior linebacker from Woodbridge, Virginia, shout out, by way of Liberty. Got to tell you, I can't imagine that Liberty and Cal are on the same page about a lot of things. It would be very, very interesting for the president of Liberty to sit down with the president of Cal. That would be a debate I would watch, dude. Jerry Falwell talking to the president of Cal. That would be some must-watch TV. Their leading tacklers, Cade Ulave. He's a junior linebacker from South Jordan, Utah. Tell you what, South Jordan does not sound like somewhere that's in America, but he is from South Jordan, Utah. He has 62 tackles. And then we also have Luke Farrelly. That guy sounds like he's from New Jersey, but he's not. He's from Carlsbad, California, and he's a freshman linebacker. So I tell you what, the 2 most difficult positions to contribute at in college football as a freshman, in my opinion, are in the front 7 and the offensive line. That is tremendous to not only be contributing, but also be one of the leading tacklers on your team as a freshman. He is second on the team with 54 tackles. So shout out to that guy for real. By the way, if you're a Cal fan and we've made you laugh or we've kept you entertained, please do please do subscribe. We do this every week. Every week we play a team. More times than not, we do lose this year. That's going to change next year. But we do like to bring some positive vibes. Special teams. Looks like Cal has 2 different kickers. Chase Meyer, he's handling extra points and everything up to 40 yards. And then Abram Murray, he's 3 for 3 from 40 plus yards. You can look these guys up. They look like kickers. I'll say that. And also Cal embracing living through the way that we believe them to live through. We're doing participation trophies. We're letting everybody participate. So we're going to have 2 kickers that are participating. So pretty incredible stuff.
Speaking of the Calgorithm, so I just jumped on Cal Football's Twitter and their hashtag is hilarious.
What is it?
Smart and tough.
So yeah, they had to drop hard because that was too aggressive. We couldn't have hard, smart, tough.
They're very, very smart. 27 libraries, 16,000 Nobel Peace Prize winners, as I can't even speak. Number 1 public university, so they are smart.
I do want to say about the state. Can we just do a quick riff on the state of California? Name 3 things that are random and cool about California in a row. I'll go. Their state flag is awesome. Their time zone is awesome. I think it's pretty cool to wake up at 9 o'clock and you get football and you don't have to stay up until midnight to watch football. And the weather is fantastic. 3 things that are cool about California.
It is the 6th largest economy on planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
It has the best. It is the most beautiful state in the United States.
Yeah.
And has the most to offer. And I freaking love the redwoods. And just like you go out to Lake Tahoe, those trees are just sweet, you know?
Trees are sweet.
It's just the tree skiing in Lake Tahoe is different than the tree skiing in Park City than it is in Telluride. That, you know, it's just different out in Lake Tahoe. It's cool. That lake is incredible too. I've been out there in the summertime. It's not the warmest lake, but the water is just crazy.
It's amazing because Cal is one of those schools, like, it's one of those schools where you're like, oh my God, these guys are so pretentious. I mean, if I went to Cal, I'd probably wear the crew neck all the time. Be like, yeah, I went to Berkeley, spent 4 semesters there. It's like one of those schools where it's like, yeah, I'd probably talk about the school a lot if I went there. Keys to the game. Here are my keys. It's so tough to do these keys to the game because, like, I mean, there are so many keys. I feel like a janitor over here, and I got to pick a couple of them. Try not to beat yourself and Cal. Maybe just beat Cal. Cal actually beats themselves sometimes. So why don't you just let them do that versus beating yourself? Can we make Songapula homeboy turn the ball over? It seems to be what he's been doing the last 4 weeks. Let's let him do that a little bit more. Run the football. Not really sure why we don't do that more. Run the football. It's what we're good at. We're really not good at throwing the ball. And here's the last one, and I think this one's really important, Pat. For as bad as this team is and as disappointing as the season has been, there are going to be a lot of people at the game on Friday night. It's a Friday night game in Lane Stadium. Like, there will be a lot of people at this game. If we can just avoid, like, the stupid penalties and, like, crowd deflating moments, the fan base and the stadium can actually help you and will you to a win. It's amazing that I'm saying this and giving this example. UVA won a game against Washington State, and their stadium had a massive impact on that game. They had 3 penalties in a row. They had 2 offsides and a holding penalty by the same player on the same drive that eventually led to an interception. If we can just get, like, I'm not singling guys out, but I'm just thinking of this play. Ben Bell, do not kill the quarterback 5 seconds after he's let the ball go. Let's not have awful body language. Let's not throw an interception fumble play that I've never seen in my life that you don't even know how to add it to the box score. Like, if we can just avoid doing to take a Fuenteism, ludicrous crap, the fan base will rally behind you and we might be able to walk out of Lane Stadium with a dub. If not, we will lose to Cal at home at night on national television. And I'm going to be pissed. Super pissed. I would like to not start my weekend super pissed.
It's Cal, man. I'm fired up. I hope we meet some Cal people.
I do too, dude.
Around the tailgates.
Yeah.
This is new for them.
Yeah.
This is different for them. I mean, like, I'm still reveling in the fact that Cal is coming to Virginia Tech for a conference game.
When do we go to Cal? Is that coming up soon?
I don't know, but I want to go. I'm bummed.
Yeah,
I heard the Stanford game was a ton of fun last year.
I would go to Cal over Stanford. I really would. I'll tell you what. I'd go to Cal over Stanford or SMU. Is that crazy? I don't know. We play at Cal next year, dude. I'm looking at the schedule. I'm looking at the schedule right now. It says 2026 at Cal, Berkeley, Calif. We're going to have to go. We must go.
If you are a Cal fan, please comment and tell us that we should come next year.
And
we're looking for
some
some
suggestions. do some I'm not staying at y'all's house. But with y'all's laws, we might just be able to squat at your house. Do put down some of the recommendations that you do have in Cal Berkeley, and if you do welcome us, we will be fired up. That was good too. That was witty. Any keys to the game, Pat, that you'd like to share? It's tough. I'm like asking you for keys to the game. Don't play like we've played for 80% of the season. Like that's the key.
Man, this team is just, I have zero words for this team. I really don't. I'm like, wait, Christian Ellis isn't even on the team anymore. Like, didn't he like will us to victory a few weeks ago? Like, we're starting these podcasts off with the Monty "You Got Me" video. I'm like, wait, should we stop that? We win one game. Okay, let's change our intro just, for vibes. And every single time I see it, I'm like, damn, that happened so long ago.
Dude, it's funny you say that because we did a basketball pod the other day and it was on it and I uploaded it to YouTube, which is not a quick task. It takes like 10 minutes to upload. And I pressed play just to make sure it was the right file, and it was like, "You got me!" And I was like, "Nah, I gotta get this off." Because we're talking hoops. It's nothing against Coach Montgomery. It's just I don't want somebody to click on there and be like, "Yo, Neo, like fired up," and then they're like, "Hey, football," and they're like, "Damn."
Speaking of, raise your hand if you're going to the hoops game on Saturday.
I'm fired up for you. I wish I could go. I have to pick up Frankie. You know why? This is such garbage. Might be a little TMI. I've wanted to name my daughter Sedona Ray. I thought that would be super cool. And Jay obviously is like, that's just ridiculous. I was like, okay, well, let's go to Sedona together so you can understand. So you can understand where I'm coming from. And she's like, sure, we'll go together. A couple months ago, she comes up and she's like, oh, like, just that you know, I have a girls trip planned. It's like, that's awesome. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going out west. Oh, that's so cool. Palm Springs, LA, San Diego. If you're going to San Diego, that may be pissed. No, we're going to Arizona. That's awesome. Flagstaff, Phoenix, Scottsdale. No, we're going to Sedona. I got to tell you, that made me pretty angry that not only are you going without me and shooting down the name. I think that's baloney. So that's crazy. Comment what you think about the name Sedona Ray, please. Pat, I know where you stand.
Congratulations on the daughter.
Grant Watson's over-unders. Pat, I'll let you kick it off. Drones passing yards, 199.5.
Under.
I'm under as well. Hokies turnovers forced, half.
Over. Please.
I will go over
at
as
home,
well.
Force a fumble in their territory. Maybe like a little scoop and score like Narelle Pollard against Pittsburgh.
Room service. Shout out Mark Jones. Cal total points, 23.5. Oh, man.
I'm going to predict us to win this game, by the way.
I know. I can't. I know. I'm going under on this one, buddy.
Yeah, me too.
Score predictions.
I mean, we're getting that dub video. Like we are walking out of Lane Stadium with a dub.
Oh my gosh!
At 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Oh my gosh. If we don't, I'm gonna be walking out of Lane Stadium in a hospital. Score predictions. You know what? They're brought to you this week by Dave Phillips. Dave Phillips Real Estate in Blacksburg, Virginia, taking care of your needs, buying, selling, even just browsing, whatever you need to do. Hey, Cal fans, you come down to Blacksburg and you're like, man, I love this slow pace of life. Oh my gosh, it's not raining every single day. Oh my gosh, they pick up the garbage off of the streets here, unlike San Francisco. I would love to move to Southwest Virginia. If you feel that way, hit up our guy, Dave Phillips. He'll take care of you. He will look out for you, and that will be absolutely fantastic. I'm going Hokies. Well, first of all, the stat is the Hokies are 1-6 against the spread this year, which is pretty bad. Almost as bad as it can get. I'm going Virginia Tech to win and I'm going Virginia Tech to win 20-17. And here's my promise. If we lose this game, I will not predict us to win another game the rest of the year. I will not. If we lose this game, I will predict us to lose every single game the rest of the way.
You think we're going to be even close to favored in any? 3 of our last 4 games are against teams that are in the top 18, and the 4th one is on the road at Florida State, who beat Bama at Doak Campbell Stadium. So bold take there, not picking the Hokies.
It takes a lot for me to pick us to win. Maybe it shouldn't, because I've been given quite a bit of evidence here.
It is the Terrion Stewart had a bye week to get healthy. Can we give him the ball 17 times? Can he run for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns? And Virginia Tech wins 27-17.
Wow. Okay, a 10-point win in Lane Stadium. Hang the banner, dude. That would be tremendous. That'd be the best time in Lane Stadium since Metallica. Last thing before we roll, I'm just going to read some games off that are going on around the country, which is great about playing on Fridays. I get to watch all of this football. UCLA at Indiana, noon on Fox. Indiana is favored by 24.5. Any thoughts there?
That's a lot of points.
It is a lot of points.
That's a lot of points.
UCLA is undefeated since firing their coach.
Indiana scores a lot of points. UCLA, led by their offensive coordinator, Tim Bergling, a.k.a. Avicii, Jerry Neuheisel, also scores a ton of points. I would tease that. I would tease that game up to like Indiana
minus 28.
I would tease that down to like Indiana minus 20.
Okay. Indiana did not cover last week against Michigan State. They had the backdoor non-cover. Ole Miss at Oklahoma at noon. Oklahoma is favored by 4.5. It's a tough spot for Ole Miss. Just go on the road against Athens. Now you got to go on the road to Oklahoma. Tough spot. USF is playing at Memphis at noon on ESPN2. Everybody was asking for College Game Day for this game. And then Memphis lost to the Trent Dilferless Blazers of UAB.
What is up with these schools losing and firing their head coach, and then the next week the interim and some random guy off the street go ahead and just will them to a big victory? Like, how is that just a trend? That needs to be studied.
It does need to be studied. It is very interesting. They really galvanize the guys. It is very interesting because the players are like, we're so heartbroken for coach, and now we're going to go win for him, but we also just got him fired. I don't know. It's very interesting.
Or they quit on him.
Yeah, just very, very bizarre. Auburn and Arkansas, I'll tell you what, I think Bobby Petrino really wants this job. And I think this is going to be like one of those Spartacus moments where he just Spartan kicks him in the chest and Hugh Freeze, it's over. It would be over. I think this is the Hugh Freeze, it's over game.
Alabama goes
At
to
South Carolina.
Columbia, South Carolina. This could get ugly.
Yeah. I don't feel great about this one for Shane. I also want to say, and I'll put out a video about this, but I'm not like, I may have been a little harsh on Shane. I really want to see him do well. I feel bad for him, man. He's going through it. I do not expect this to be a pleasant activity for the Gamecocks. It's probably going to be like a kick to the cock for the Gamecocks. This is the most interesting game of the week to me. Missouri is traveling to Vanderbilt at 3:30 on ESPN. Vanderbilt is favored by 2.5. College Game Day is going to be there. Here is my bold prediction, Pat. Whoever wins this game is going to the college football playoff.
I would love for it to be Vanderbilt, and I would love for Diego Pavia to hold that trophy up here in December. That would be exciting.
I will be pulling for Vanderbilt, and I do think if they can get past this game, they will be in the college football playoff. We have one more game, and it is 2 more games. We have BYU at Iowa State, 3:30 on Fox. Iowa State is favored in that game. We'll see what Coach Campbell does. And then lastly, Texas A&M is playing at LSU, 7:30 on ABC. Brian Kelly really needs to win this game. I'm very interested to see what happens in that situation. Texas A&M had a little bit of a scare last week against Arkansas. So we'll see. That'll be interesting. Anything can happen at Death Valley at night.
I'm excited to see the press conference. UVA, because it's not a podcast unless we talk about our friends to the north.
Who do they have?
Carolina this week. They go to Cal the following week. Then they host Wake Forest. Then they go to Durham. And then they get a bye before Big Bro comes up the road.
Dude, this UNC game, UVA UNC, no matter what the records are for either team, is always super compelling. Now, the only thing that's a little weird about that is UNC is like, I know we're not very good. They're like super ass. Like they're really bad. But I mean, anything can happen. You got Bill Belichick versus Coach Tony Elliott. And shout out to Brett Smith. He calls Tony Elliott Coach CTE for Coach Tony Elliott. That's just objectively super funny. So yeah, I'm excited to watch that one.
Okay, here's combined losses for Virginia and Georgia Tech the rest of the way. I just told you Virginia. Georgia Tech has Syracuse at home this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They go to Raleigh.
Mm-hmm.
They go to Boston. They host Pitt. And then they finish up with good, clean, fashion, hate.
Won't count towards the ACC race, though. The one thing that concerns me about Georgia Tech, I think Pittsburgh it hasn't caught on the national media yet. Since Pittsburgh changed their quarterback, they're a much better football team. It's crazy to think they're both in the driver's seat, man. Miami is going to be hoping that one of them lose, and they don't get to play either of them. You also got SMU, too. So
SMU is so sneaky.
They're so sneaky.
And SMU runs into Miami and Louisville.
The ACC race is kind of...
ACC's got like 5 solid teams.
ACC race is kind of fun.
I mean, Pittsburgh is the highest ranked one-loss team in the ACC standings.
Wow. Because they probably played more games in the ACC.
If you were to give me odds on Virginia losing a game, I would take those odds. I just don't see the University of Virginia going 11-1. That just doesn't sound like a thing. Mm-hmm. I think their toughest game between now and the end of the year is going to be at Duke in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But it is lining up pretty nicely for them, I will say. They still didn't sell out last week.
They had a good showing. They had a really good showing. I had to give them their props. The stadium looked very good.
We'll give them an A-.
I think that's fair. I think an A- is definitely fair. We don't grade on a curve over here. Pat, we did have some somber news before we head into the weekend.
We did find news yesterday about the passing of our good friend Charlie Stoner. Charlie was a fixture in the New River Valley community, most known or notably known through his efforts at the McLean's B&B Theaters. He was one of the managers over there, and the Spring Jam event that we did 2022, 2023, 2024 would not have been possible without Charlie, and it has been truly a blessing to know Charlie over the last few years. I speak for Billy Ray and myself and Davon Morgan. I think we just love Charlie, and he was just the man and just an awesome dude. Worked at several establishments across Blacksburg, Christiansburg, grew up in Christiansburg, diehard Virginia Tech fan, and we will miss him dearly. The first word that comes to mind when I think of Charlie Stoner is a friend. He was certainly a friend of this podcast and this community as well. So the heart goes out to the Stoner family, and really bummed and upset to hear the news, but did want to know that Charlie's legacy will last a lifetime. And if there's anything that comes out, about how we can help, I'm sure we will promote it here on our platforms as well.
Yeah, we'll also share when we find out what the memorial or anything along those lines is. When I think of Charlie, I think of I think it's crazy how much we threw at him, man, when we were doing the Spring Jam event. I mean, we'd show up like an hour and a half before, and he'd be like, "What do I need to do?" And it'd be like, this, can we do this? Can we do this? And then Davon would be like, "Can we do this? Can we do this?" And you'd be like, "Can we do this? Can we do this?" And he got it all done every single time. I also think about his shoe collection, which he absolutely loved. I think about how much he loved men's basketball. I'll never forget running into him at the men's basketball game, and it's like a Wednesday game at like 7:30, and he shows up and he had on this really nice blue blazer for like a matinee, it's like a 7:00 men's basketball game. And he's got on his Hokie themed basketball shoes. And man, he was always a smiley guy, such a nice guy. So shout out to Charlie, shout out to his family. We will miss you a ton. And with that, safe travels to Blacksburg, everybody. Looking forward to seeing you. If you're going to be there, please do let us know. If you are a Cal fan and you need to know where to go, feel free to hit us up on Twitter, hit us up in the comments. We'll help you out. And hopefully we are walking out of Lane Stadium with a dub. Toodles, everybody.
Toodles.
Yeah, it was tough. That was
Brenda Song. That was in honor of Brenda Song. Shout out to
very...
London Tipton.